In the town of Pendlebrook, where the morning mist clung to the eaves, there was a shop at the end of Cobble Lane with a door the color of a robin's egg. Inside was Ava Gray, the mender of broken things. She didn't just fix cracks or sew seams. A boy brought her a wind-up songbird that had fallen silent after a hard tumble from his windowsill. A woman brought a compass that always spun, useless, since she'd gotten lost in the woods as a child. Ava returned them not just repaired, but restored. The songbird's tune became sweeter than before. The compass needle settled, pointing not north, but steadily toward home. Her craft was a secret, kept behind a velvet curtain. There sat a great ancient loom, strung with threads of glimmering light, the invisible ties of memory and love that connect us to the things we cherish. When an object broke, its thread frayed, causing a quiet dissonance in its owner's world. Ava could reweave them, but the loom required a balance. It drew upon threads from her own treasury of happy memories to make the mend. She had 2 rules. You must bring the break yourself, and you could never watch the loom at work. Her most frequent visitor was a young musician named Leo. He wasn't a customer, but a curious neighbor. He'd bring her sweet rolls from the bakery and ask endless, gentle questions she'd deftly parry. He was fascinated by the magic he sensed, the peace that seemed to radiate from her shop. He himself carried a different kind of break. In his pocket was a small, smooth river stone, warm from his constant touch. "It's my brother's," he told Ava once, his usual cheer dimmed. "Eli. He traveled overseas for work years ago. We were close as twins, but the distance, it's like the thread snapped. We call, but it's just static now. This stone is from our favorite spot by the river. Feels like holding a deadline." One day, Leo arrived not with pastries, but with his hands empty and his face pale. "It's the songbird," he said, his voice tight. "The little boy, Finn." He was carrying it to show his grandmother in the hospital. He tripped on the stairs. The bird is shattered, and Finn is heartbroken. He says his grandmother needs its song to get better. He placed a small box on the counter. Inside, nestled in cloth, were the porcelain pieces of the songbird, and among them, the tiny, intricate brass music box mechanism, bent and still. "This isn't just a break," Ava said softly, feeling the object's thread, a delicate, brave little melody now fractured into discord. "This is a promise, shattered." "I'll pay anything," Leo said, his earnest eyes full of a plea not for himself, but for a child. Ava agreed. But that night, Leo's protective worry for Finn curdled into a reckless idea. What if he could help? What if he understood the magic? He slipped into the shop's backyard and peered through a gap in the curtained window. He saw the magnificent, singing loom. He saw Ava, drawing a silvery thread of a memory of her own mother singing a lullaby, to bind the songbird's glittering, broken strand. His breath fogged the glass. The magic, sensitive as a spider's web, felt the disturbance. The songbird's thread quivered violently. A shard of porcelain, infused with the chaotic energy, shot from the loom and grazed Ava's hand. She gasped. More devastatingly, the memory thread snapped. The echo of the lullaby vanished from her mind, leaving a cold, silent blank space. The next morning, Leo found the shop dark. When Ava finally came to the door, she was diminished. A white bandage was on her hand, and the warm light in her eyes was clouded with a profound, quiet sorrow. She gave him the mended songbird. Its tune was perfect, achingly beautiful. "It will work," she said, her voice flat. "For Finn." Leo delivered the bird. Finn's joy, his grandmother's teary smile as the song filled her room, it was a balm, but it couldn't cure Leo's shame. He had traded Ava's precious memory for this happiness. He sat by the river, tossing his brother's stone in his hand, feeling the weight of 2 broken connections. Then, he looked at the stone. An idea, fragile but clear, emerged. Ava mended threads of attachment. Could new threads be spun? He didn't collect tokens from townspeople. Instead, he went to the post office and sent a package overseas, wrapped with more care than he'd ever taken. Inside was the river stone, a letter filled not with static, but with true, honest words about failure and hope, and a simple request. Weeks later, a reply came. Not just a letter, but a small parcel from his brother, Eli. Inside was a polished piece of driftwood from a distant shore, a seashell that echoed the ocean, and a note: "If your mender can fix things, maybe she can also connect them. I miss our river. Let's build a new one, between here and there. Leo worked not at a loom, but at a workbench. He combined the smooth river stone and the salty driftwood. He embedded the seashell. He wove a thin, strong cord between them, creating a singular, beautiful sculpture, a bridge made of two worlds. He returned to the blue door. When Ava opened it, he saw the lingering sadness in her eyes. Wordlessly, he held out his creation. Ava's breath caught. As her fingers neared the sculpture, she didn't just see wood and stone. She felt it. Two brilliant, strong threads, one from each brother, one from each continent, spun from the objects, not frayed or broken, but vibrant and new. They reached out, not to her loom, but to her, weaving around that silent, cold space inside her. They didn't replace her lost lullaby, but they filled the silence with a new, warm hum of connection and hope. She looked at her hand. The bandage was gone. The cut remained, but now it was traced with a delicate, golden filigree, as if repaired with starlight. She looked at Leo, and a real warm smile returned to her face. You, she said, her voice regaining its music, have learned to spin. News traveled in whispers. The shop on Cobble Lane still mended broken things. But now, people began to bring Ava not just breaks, but connections waiting to be made. A sister with a seashell, hoping to link to a brother in the mountains. Two friends with matching halves of an old coin. Ava Gray, the mender, became Ava Gray, the weaver of bonds. And Leo, his own connection to his brother singing stronger than ever, became her apprentice, learning that the most powerful magic isn't in fixing what's broken, but in having the courage to spin something new, and to always, always knock on the blue door.